The Nintendo Switch 2 console is a new frontier for Nintendo. We know that the Switch 1 was massively successful, and now Nintendo has a chance to do it again. I mean, yeah, maybe this is gonna be a Wii to Wii U situation, but things seem good for Nintendo right now, and it's not like they're massively reinventing the wheel so far. The Wii U had the gamepad, that was a whole big diversion from what made the Wii successful, and people weren't really sure it was a new console. The Switch 2 has a big 2 on the box and seems to be more of what made the Switch good, with probably higher power, better graphics, and we can assume probably a bunch more exclusive games that can only be played on Switch 2 that will push the sales of Switch 2. And, it's also backwards compatible, so that's awesome. And today, we're going to be talking about specifically that backwards compatibility. Sure, the Switch 2 probably is going to be able to run all of the Switch 1 cartridges, and that's great, but let's think about what the year is, and yeah, it's 2025. Most of us have at least some digital games, so in some way, there's probably going to need to be a method for copying over files from an old Switch to a new Switch. It probably will just be a clean-cut bit of UI that is very similar to how you can transfer games from one Switch to another on the current Switch. But what if we do take a step back to the days of the Wii into the Wii U? What if we take a look at how that system transfer worked? My name is Vantage Emblem, and today we're going to be talking about Pikmin's role in the system transfer from Wii to Wii U, and how it's entirely possible this could happen again from the Switch to the Switch 2. I'm also going to be super realistic and say that this is probably unlikely, and I'm going to talk about why I think it's potentially a possibility, and why I think it's unlikely as well. So if you like this sort of thing, leave a like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. So, for starters, let's talk about Pikmin's role in the GUI of the original Switch. There's not much, right? The base model Switch came with a few Pikmin profile pictures you could use for setting up your accounts, and if you have Nintendo Switch Online, there are a few other Pikmin profile pictures that you can use, but other than that, there's not really much to Pikmin being in the Switch GUI, because there's literally no themes or anything really colorful to the Switch GUI anyway. It's really boring. The Wii U, for all of its faults, had really atmospheric GUI. The 3DS, beautiful GUI. The Wii, the DS, Nintendo has a history of having really clean, really neat, really charming GUI with nice music, and the Switch has none of that. So, yes, as it stands currently, it would be out of character for the Switch to have Pikmin or any other Nintendo characters at all play a role in the system GUI. However, the Switch had room to add themes, even though they never did, and the Switch 2 certainly could have a much more colorful GUI, especially now that the Switch 1 is successful. That kind of brings more life back into it. And I think the Switch 2 having themes would make a lot of sense. So, assuming the Switch 2 is going to have a bit more life, I think it could make sense to see some branded characters making their way into the GUI, even if it's just through themes. Now, on the original Wii to Wii U system transfer, apps were ported over by the Pikmin, carried to a little rocket, and then shipped over to Wii U land, where they were then taken out of the rocket and offloaded to the console. Pikmin also was featured in DS to 3DS system transfers. And you see, that's awesome, because that's two places where Pikmin was used for system transfer. So maybe it could happen again here, from the Switch to the Switch 2. I kind of love the idea that the Pikmin, who just, carry things, it's awesome, become the system transfer guys. Like, it's just such a neat idea. It's perfectly Nintendo, and I think it would be the perfect place for the Pikmin as mascots to be on the console, especially because since the last set of system transfers, we now have the new Pikmin types from Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4. I mean, you have the Rock, Winged, Glow, and Ice Pikmin all at your disposal for system transfers. That's really awesome. I think it would be a really good place for Pikmin to sit on the console. This is awesome, but theoretically, a system transfer is not going to be that dramatic in this day and age compared to the Wii to Wii U system transfer, and I could see, if they were to use Pikmin as characters, it not being as artful as this original system transfer. Again, this is still the Switch, right? We're trying to keep things sleeker and more uniform. So maybe this could take a different form. Maybe instead of having the whole porting down for a little while into a rocket and shipping them away, the Pikmin could just be a slight, 2D character set, bringing objects from one Switch to the other on the same local network, and it's not really that dramatic and big and impressive like the Wii to Wii U transfer. But in some way, shape, or form, you're going to need to be able to take your old games and put them on the new console, and I think this could be a great way to do it. That being said, I think there's more around the context of Pikmin specifically being used on the Wii U compared to Pikmin being used now that just makes it seem less likely for Pikmin to be a choice now compared to the Wii U. On the Wii U, we had Pikmin 3 planned to be a launch title, and yes, it was delayed, it missed that window, but it was a good time to have brand synergy with Pikmin being in Nintendo Land, Pikmin being the transfer IP for transferring your data, and Pikmin being a launch title. On the Switch, too, we had Pikmin 4 come out a little while ago, but what new upcoming Pikmin things are there? Are we gonna see a new Pikmin spin-off? I mean, we've had a lot of leaks and rumors around that, but the last one said we were gonna get a direct in February, and hey, that didn't age well, it's now March. So with nothing really upcoming that we know about, I can't see that the Switch 2 necessarily will need to tie into Pikmin. I think something new from the Mario universe is more likely for the launch of the Switch. I mean, let's be honest, there's been a couple Zelda projects pretty recently, and Pikmin is never going to be prioritized enough to get more than one game every 10 years, apparently, despite what Nintendo says. So, it's probably likely that we'll see, maybe some Koopa Troopas carrying in files from one console to another, or Koroks from Zelda compared to this, right? Pikmin being prioritized would surprise me. However, we've had a ton of Pikmin merch, we've seen Pikmin on the Alarmo, and now maybe this is another opportunity for Nintendo to just slowly push Pikmin towards a larger audience by having them be an integral feature for old Switch users coming to the new hardware. I think it could be really neat, and it didn't work with the Wii U only because nobody bought a Wii U. Maybe this would be a really good opportunity for Pikmin. Then again, the Switch didn't even include Mii's as a major part of its system GUI. They're really buried in the whole of the Switch system despite being used for some games. So, I don't know, Pikmin being involved just seems less likely than I'd like it to be, but what do you think? Do you think that Pikmin could be a part of the system transfer again? Do you think that was an old idea, bad idea, was used for the Wii U failed, never coming back? Do you think that if it would happen, it'd be as grandiose as the original system transfer, or something with a more stylized 2D simple design? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Either way, I'm excited to see what exactly is in store for Pikmin on the new Switch 2. Hopefully we see a Pikmin 5, hopefully we see some spin-offs, and hopefully there's a lot of really good Pikmin content that just releases and we're able to enjoy within the next 10 years, and we don't have to wait another decade for Pikmin to have another mainline entry. Will this be the first part of the Pikmin adventure on Switch 2? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll be revealed with the console, maybe it's something that's just going to be out there officially when people start to get their hands on the console, and, of course, maybe it doesn't happen at all. Special thanks to Kukoses for helping me edit this video. He's a family friend and a Zelda YouTuber, and you should go subscribe to him. We're gonna be collabing very soon in the future, so make sure you're subscribed to me as well if you don't want to miss that. I'll stop rambling and end things here. Thanks for watching. My name is Vantage Emblem, and I hope to see more Pikmin stuff soon.